some documents from the Air Force around information warfare. Essentially, if you understand that the universe is made up of information, there's a group of people, they put out a contest called Evolution 2.0, and it's this person, Perry Marshall, who's a very influential business consultant in coordination also with George Church, who's out of Harvard Medical School and part of a lot of the genomic, gene engineering, CRISPR, Ancestry.com, synthetic bio space. And they've got this contest where they are offering up $10 million for anyone who can figure out this problem around communication theory. The base level, you've got a transmitter and a receiver, and there's communication that travels between both of them. But both sides have to understand what that communication is. Like even DNA is a communication system, like coding and recoding. And so there's systems of communication, whether that can be an alphabet, that can be spoken word, that can be anything that the two parties have agreed upon. But what they haven't figured out is, how did the first communication start? Because if you've only got two parties, they can't communicate until they have a mode of communication, and yet they can never get that. And that what is above that, the implication is there is a third party. There is an all-powerful force that enabled the first communications, and that is God. And so what these very influential people are doing now is that they are looking more towards this gentleman, Jean-Baptiste Lamarck from the 18th century, who is looking at intelligent design. And so they are trying to essentially, through this contest, as it appears, to break the code of life, to be able to figure out where that third party came into the equation and to dislodge like a coup of God, essentially. Solving this communication puzzle, solving the idea of communication of life itself, of genetic sequencing, outside of the way we've been traditionally presented, surfacing other ideas, and then what happens once that takes place. They need as much data as possible to break that code. The idea of this barcode of life, so Microsoft is advancing the planetary computer under the climate change campaign, and then there's another group of people who are doing every single living thing needs to be barcoded. A lot of this is embedded in bioinformatics research, Ancestry.com, getting all of that material. They need to break it through force of machine learning. And so if you imagine, once you start looking into nanoelectronics and optogenetics and using magnetism to control and map neurons, what MIT has said with their goal for a substrate independent mind, which could be the hive mind, right? The blockchain, the ultimate blockchain mind, is that they need neural mapping. They need the morphology of the neurons. They need massive, massive amounts of data. And so as I imagine it, now that they've got this technology to get the data that they want to accomplish this end at a massive scale, that's what they're going to pursue, but they need to not kill everybody first.